We have a Hunter Biden bombshell. Donald Trump does not say no to assuming the role of Speaker of the House. And Matt Gaetz is still on the warpath. Stay tuned, everybody. Hey, for the best meat you have ever eaten, check out samsbutchershop.com. Go and shop around. When you go to checkout, enter the promo code Triple T for a 5% discount. Check it out. Hello, everybody. Trailer Trash Tim. How's your mama and them? Thank you so much for joining me here on this Thursday. Coming to you from the great state of Alabama. And we've got a lot of news to cover today, so let's get going. Let's start with a bombshell, and I'm talking about Hunter Biden, the son of the esteemed President of the United States, Sleepy Joe Biden. Many of you know that there's a lot of controversy surrounding Hunter and his business dealings in particular with the Ukrainian regime and his affiliation with the Burisma Corporation and all these ungodly amounts of money that he was able to profit. Nobody knows how he made so much money. Nobody knows what he's really qualified to do. I don't think I'd have him sitting on any board that I'd be associated with, but here we are. But Hunter is on trial now, or at least he's in court, because they finally got him on a gun charge. He made a mistake of misrepresenting himself when he applied for a gun permit, and they got him on this charge. Of course, there's a lot more things you could get Hunter on, but at least they got him on this, and that is a start. But Catherine Herridge, who is a reporter, I can't believe this, for CBS, but she has uncovered some documents that have been kept from us for so long. A lot of the documents she found have been redacted. A lot of the information and the identities of people that Hunter was involved in have been redacted, but Catherine has done her due diligence, and I want you to see what she has turned up. This is on Real Clear Politics. CBS Catherine Herridge looks into some of the documents released by House Republican investigators about Hunter Biden's international business dealings. The Republican-led House and Ways and Means Committee has released hundreds of new documents from the Biden investigation. And I want to talk you, this is Catherine talking, I want to talk you through Exhibits 202 and 203. Very important, pay close attention. Exhibit number 202 is an email from August of 2020 sent by prosecutor Leslie Wolf to senior FBI and IRS investigators who are drafting a search warrant. Wolf tells them to keep the scope narrow and limited to potential violations of foreign policy lobbying laws, or FARA, and to remove references, listen closely, to remove references in these documents to political figure 1. You got that? So, Catherine writes, who is political figure 1? That's the question. Now, first of all, let me interject this. The FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, this worthless agency, this corrupt agency that does not serve the American people, it is utterly corrupted. And it doesn't need to exist, in my opinion, but that's neither here nor there. Catherine writes, who is political figure 101? That is explained in Exhibit 203. It is heavily redacted, but this is the draft warrant, and it lists political figure number 1 as, are you ready? Former Vice President Joe Biden. Boom! There it is. Finally, we have evidence. The House Ways and Means Committee has access to this. And finally, we couldn't get this from the FBI because they wouldn't do their job, because they were covering for Joe Biden. They were covering for Lord Obama. They wouldn't do their job, so finally the House Ways and Means Committee said, fine, we'll do it for you. Joe Biden is revealed in Exhibit 203 as being political figure number 1. The IRS whistleblowers have alleged they were blocked from following evidence that may have led to President Biden. We reached out to special counsel David Weiss and the Justice Department, who declined to comment. Well, of course they did. Why? Because they're too busy going after Donald Trump, don't you know? That's why. Weiss said he is working independently from the Justice Department. President Biden and Hunter Biden have denied any wrongdoing. Heritage also reported on the latest developments in the case where the Hunter Biden is pleading guilty to lying on a felony gun safety offense. But the gun offense is not the big news here, folks. The big news is this. We now have solid evidence with regard to Hunter Biden that the recipient of some of this dirty money from Ukraine and the Zelensky regime, where Hunter was basically playing the middleman, that recipient would be none other than political figure one. Who is political figure number one? The dirtiest player in the game. That would be his daddy, the big guy, Joe Biden. Now we have the evidence, and now you may start asking, wait just a minute. With evidence like this, which is clear, it is clear as a bell, it is undeniable, it is irrefutable, it is indisputable, what are the ramifications? I don't know the answer to that question, but I'm telling you, day by day by day, it is looking to me like old Joe may not make it to the finish line, if you know what I mean. It looks to me day by day that old Joe, come election time, may be laying on the beach again in Delaware. This is hard evidence that clearly associates Joe Biden with this corrupt money coming from the Zelensky regime, or not necessarily the Zelensky regime per se, but interest in the corrupt cesspool of a nation of Ukraine. There it is. There's your bombshell of the day. And now we've got it. I mean, we've got the evidence. There's more to come, I'll promise you, but we have hard evidence that ties Joe Biden to this dirty money. So it remains to be seen what is going to happen. The FBI wouldn't do their job. The Department of Justice wouldn't do their job. The Attorney General wouldn't do his job. So the House was pretty much forced to do the job for them. And look at what they're beginning to uncover, what we suspected all along. This is the dirtiest president we've had since Obama, but we've got some goods on him now, and he's going to have a hard time, I would say, wriggling out from under this. Let's move on. All right, as you know, we covered this yesterday. Kevin McCarthy, the Speaker of the House, has been ousted due to the efforts of Member of Congress Matt Gaetz of Florida. McCarthy is gone. He has left town, and now we've got to have a new election for a new Speaker. We talked about that yesterday. One of the potential candidates for Speaker of the House, it could be any American. It doesn't have to be a member of the House, but one of the names being floated about, and I didn't take this seriously. I still don't take it seriously, but one of the names was Donald Trump, the former president. It is possible from a legal standpoint, from a rules standpoint, that Trump could become Speaker of the House. I don't expect that to happen. However, Trump was asked about this outside the courtroom where he is being detained, if you know what I mean, because he's having to give attention to all these frivolous trials. Presently, the civil trial under Judge Scrooge, Arthur Ergeron. What a fiasco that is. But standing outside the courthouse, there was a gaggle of reporters there, and they were asking him, would you say yes to taking the role of Speaker of the House? And Trump spoke to them for a couple of minutes. He doesn't avoid the press like Biden does. But what is instructive about the video that I saw, and you can look it up, is Trump did not say no. They were asking him, would you consent to becoming Speaker of the House? Trump didn't say no. Now, Trump knows how to work a crowd, and he knows to work himself in front of a camera better than anybody. He always uses the attention to his advantage. He did not say no. This is what he did say. He said, I'm leading Biden by a lot. He said later, I'm leading him by 50 or 60 points, depending on the poll you want to pay attention to. I'm leading Biden by a lot. If I wasn't, I wouldn't have a trial like this. He is exactly right about that. The reason that the Justice Department has been weaponized against Donald Trump, the reason he's having all these frivolous lawsuits thrown at him is for one simple reason, as I told you yesterday, because the deep state, the powers that be, are desperate to keep him from assuming the presidency again, and they are pulling out all the stops. They are doing everything within their power to keep Trump from being elected president again. Some states are doing their best to keep him off of the ballot, which they're not going to succeed in doing. That would present a legal challenge that would go to the Supreme Court, which they would lose. They gerrymander the elections, the election results, as they did in 2020, but now they are trying to tie Trump up legally. One of his trials is being scheduled for either the day before or after Super Tuesday. I believe this is Judge Fannie Willis in Georgia, if memory serves. But the trial is scheduled for the day, I believe, before Super Tuesday. It's either one day before or the day of, which is incredible. It is galling. It is unbelievable they would try and do that to them. Then again, it's not. They're doing everything to keep him from the presidency. And this is what Trump said yesterday. I'm leading by a lot, Biden by a lot. If I wasn't, I wouldn't be here in this courtroom. He's exactly right. Were Trump way down in the polls, if he were to have no clear path to the presidency again, they wouldn't be wasting their time with all that. He is a threat. They know he's a threat. They know he's ahead in the polls. They know he has a very good chance, an excellent chance of becoming president again, and that is why they are pulling out all the stops, doing everything within their power to keep him out of the White House. All right, let's move on to let's go back to Matt Gaetz. I talked about him yesterday. As you know, as I talked to you about yesterday, Kevin McCarthy was ousted as Speaker, and his role as Speaker is being temporarily filled by another congressman. I believe he's from North Carolina. His name is Patrick McHenry. Not Patrick Henry. That'd be great. I'd rather dig up Patrick Henry. Give me liberty or give me death. No, it's Patrick McHenry, a completely different animal. And he is serving as Speaker pro tempore. He is a temporary custodian of the Speaker's chair until a new Speaker is elected. Now, I said yesterday that I didn't know, but I assumed that they would quickly move to fill the Speaker's chair and go ahead and have new elections. But that isn't what happened. As soon as McHenry took the gavel, this is what he did. I didn't expect this to happen, but it did. He gavelled the session to a recess, and he sent all the members of Congress home until next Tuesday. In other words, he said, let's all go on vacation. Good and faithful Republican that he is. Matt Gaetz did not take kindly to that, so he was disillusioned with Speaker McCarthy. Now he's disillusioned with Speaker pro tempore McHenry. And this was reported on Mediaite.com, and this is what Gaetz said. I do have to offer some pretty sharp criticism of the new pro tem of the House, Patrick McHenry. We met tonight, and he sent us home until Tuesday of next week. We should be here tomorrow working to elect a new speaker, getting onto our appropriations bills, and engaging in a negotiation with the Senate to get the government funded. But instead, these people have got to go home and cry for a week. They've got to go do a week of hand-wringing and bedwetting over the fact that Kevin McCarthy isn't Speaker anymore. You got to love this. This institution is about more than one man. It's about the job. How about we pass a budget? Amen, Matt Gaetz. He continued. So McHenry has the power of the speakership now. And literally his first act as the acting Speaker of the House was to send everyone home till Tuesday. That's moving in the wrong direction. we've got to get a new speaker, and we've got to get leadership to understand a sense of urgency that your viewers and the American people all feel. He is exactly right, folks. This is a typical move by the Democrats. As soon as McHenry gets the gavel, he sends everybody home on vacation instead of keeping their nose to the wheel and electing a new speaker. It's just so typical of these swamp creatures. So typical. How many of you on your jobs, you have something happen, your boss, you get a change in your supervisor or something like that, and what happens then? All the workers get sent home with a 1-week vacation, right? No. That's the real world. You got to keep working. You got to keep your nose to the grindstone. But in Congress, oh no, in Congress, these people who make close to $200,000 per year and have the greatest pensions in the world, and they are not subject to things that the typical American is subject to, such as Obamacare. They get to opt out of that. Did you know that? Yeah, they don't have to be covered by Obamacare. They get their own private health care, their blue chip, gold standard private health care. They get that. And they get a 1-week vacation because, my Lord, they're just working so hard, folks. My goodness, they need a break, don't you know? They got to take a break. So McHenry says, okay, we don't have a speaker. I'll tell you what we should do next. Let's all go home. Let's head for the beach. Let's head for the ski slopes. Let's just go have fun and think about what's happened for a week. Did you see him bang the gavel down and recess the House? He was so angry that they even had to go through this thing yesterday where they got rid of McCarthy. So he just, as a consolation prize to all these victims in Congress, they all get to go home for a week of vacation. They'll come back Tuesday, and then we'll get the job done. I wish I had a life like that. I wish I could say, yeah, I don't feel like working today. I'm going to take a week of vacation. I don't have that luxury, and I bet you don't either. That's the real world we live in, boys and girls, isn't it? But no, Congress, they get to just vote themselves a vacation anytime they get a whim. All right, let's move on to one last story. There is a man named Jim Moran, M-O-R-A-N, and he is a former corrupt, imagine that, member of Congress. This was reported on, I think it was timcast.com. I think he may have gotten this from Breitbart. I'm not sure. Former House Democrat Jim Moran starts a lobbying firm, as so many of them do, and he will receive $25,000 a month. Guess from who? Ukraine. That's right, boys and girls. Former Congressman, disgraced Congressman Jim Moran, he was caught up on all kinds of scandalous activities. He is now a lobbyist, and where's all his lobby money coming from? It's coming from the good old government of Ukraine, this cesspool of corruption. This was reported by, this is where it came from. It was reported by Natalie Winters, and he says, and she says that the letter outlining the agreement says that funds will come from a virtually untraceable Ukrainian nonprofit called Ukraine Freedom. Is Ukraine aid, she asked, from U.S. taxpayers just being funneled back to D.C. elites? Ding, 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 ding. That's exactly what's happening, Stephanie. That's exactly what's going on. And Jim Moran has got his lobbying firm, and now he's going to start padding his pockets to the tune of 25,000 smackers every month from this mysterious firm inside Ukraine. Jim Moran served as a congressman from Virginia for 24 years, retiring in 2015 before he launched his lobbying firm. I'm not going to read the whole article, but I want to tell you a little bit about Mr. Moran. Previously, Moran has been associated with more than a half dozen scandals, including allegations he supported laws that benefited those who provided financial favors to him, allegations of insider trading, and verbal and physical assault. Jim Moran. I think I prefer calling him Jim Moran. Maybe he's not so moronic. Maybe he knows what to do. Jim's a pro at taking bribes and kickbacks, just like any other member of the deep state, potentially, if you will. So here we go, another former member of Congress who is out of Congress, but he does the next best thing, and he starts a lobbying firm. This is a common occurrence, folks. whenever a member of Congress, House or Senate, whenever they are voted out for one reason or another, or perhaps they choose to retire, which is rare, they simply transition from elective office to being a lobbyist. Because let me tell you, if you think there's big money in being a congressman, or if you think there's big money in being a senator, hey man, let's get some of that lobby action, because that's where the money really is. They take these lobby monies from these dummy corporations that are untraceable, as Stephanie rightly reports, and there can't be one more corrupt than from the cesspool of Ukraine. So they get their pockets lined from these mysterious firms, and what do then? Well, they go and start lobbying. They start lobbying congressmen, and they start lobbying senators. What are they saying to them? They're saying simply this: hey, buddy, if you'll vote this way to serve the best interest of my client, this being Ukraine freedom, we'll make life a little more profitable for you, shall we say. Oh my goodness. Ukraine is such a cesspool of corruption, but it is running neck and neck with Washington, D.C. I'll tell you what, let's keep our eye on this Hunter business, because now we have fingered, we have identified, we have exposed who figure number one is. Now we know. We suspected it all along. We kind of figured that was the case, but now we have irrefutable proof. The money was going from Hunter to the big guy, Joe Biden. That's where it's going, and now we have proof. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me today. Please make sure to give me a thumbs up on this video so we can get the algorithm's attention. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, as long as you are not an illegal alien, and as long as you do not wear a face mask. You are more than welcome to subscribe to the Triple T channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Go out there and have a tremendous Thursday. This is Trailer Trash Tim, and I will see you tomorrow.